All right, so we just turned in assignment 3, and we've talked about our group presentations, which are going to be happening in 3 class periods, and that is all in Unit 8. Our next project, which is assignment 4 and Proving Ground 2, is in Unit 9, and this introduces us to vectors. So I'm just going to try to introduce this in about 10 minutes. There is a question of the day that relates to this, to kind of have to think about and process what vectors are, how they're different than raster. And then we're going to see what we're doing. And the goal for next class is to complete Proving Ground 2, right? And to actually complete it, if you can, in sketches before you come to class. Because all Proving Ground 2 is, for the first part, is to make 3 sketches and then to post them. The second part is then to critique another student's sketches. So what are vectors? What are raster? Vectors are not pixel-based, right? So here are pixel-based circles. A vector circle would just be a perfect circle, no matter how big it was, all from the same file. So vector art gives you perfectly clean edges. Really good for graphics, things like logos, which is what this assignment is designed to teach you how to make. There is a presentation that goes through the differences between vector and bitmap or a raster. Bitmap's the old name for it. Video done by the student. And we'll talk through these when we talk about the question of the day. But this can help inform you the differences between them, right? Because we're going to be learning how to make a vector. You don't have to know how to make anything. Don't have to learn how to make a vector to do Proving Ground number 2. So it'd be a good time to tackle that question of the day number 3. This is what our assignment's going to be. Assignment 4 is going to be making some form of black shape vector symbol. And our theme is going to be an Earth Day achievement badge. Right? So it can be ironic, it can be comic, it can be serious, it can be sincere. This one was an Earth Day themed one, not an achievement badge. This one was for a restaurant. This one was modifying an existing logo. So I took the Twitter logo and made it extinct. This one was using existing logos from oil companies in a way that related to Earth Day, right? So lots of things. But what do we need first to make a good logo? We need a refined sketch. But that's not what your Proving Ground is. Your Proving Ground is to get you to make a better kind of sketch. So Proving Ground number 2 is called Exercising Convergent and Divergent Thinking, and we do that through thumbnailing, through quick sketching, and then a process critique. So what you want to do is think of what you want your idea to be for Earth Day. Maybe I want to represent nature with a split-tailed swallow, which is a symbol in old kind of tattoo lore for fidelity, right? And I want to make this about being like a faithful steward of Earth's bounty, something like that. So I think I want to use a swallow and maybe a cloud to represent the environment, or a rainbow, or something like that. To make it into a vector logo, you don't want to draw it super realistically. You want to think of the ways you can simplify it, right, into its most basic forms. So what pose would make sense? And some poses are what are called central symmetrical, where they're just balanced on the middle like this one is. And some poses are more dynamic, use angles and curves and lead the eye through. So you're actually going to sketch whatever your idea is for your logo for the Earth Day Achievement Badge in 3 ways. One that is central symmetrical. So this is a butterfly idea, right? One that is dynamic, that has no horizontals and verticals and works like the Nike logo, as directional line through it. And one that plays with positive and negative space. That's the hardest one to understand. Let's look at this barbecue one. So the bull straight on, like the Chicago Bulls, central symmetrical. Doesn't need to be absolute symmetry, but it's playing with the idea of it all being balanced from the middle. Dynamic flows at an angle through. Play with positive and negative space It means that you are making something with the empty space in your design. These are the two criteria that have to be met in these proving grounds. First is to create and post at least 3 rough thumbnail solutions of your logo design. Consider the 3 main approaches to logo design: central, symmetrical, dynamic, and a play of positive and negative space. That's what you can get done by next class, right? Before next class. Then in next class, you're going to respond to another class member's sketches. And I'm going to help you understand this sketching process. We can improve your thumbnail sketches. From there, you are then going to make your refined sketch for your logo design. And your refined sketch for your logo design will then kind of really pick your approach. Whether it's central, symmetrical, whether it's play of positive, negative space, whether it's dynamic, right? So this is the inspiration for my idea. And this is my central symmetrical kind of refined sketch, right? But I will demonstrate at the beginning of next class what a dynamic version of this idea might be, what a play of positive and negative space version of this idea would be. And notice this is a little complicated for a logo, like a business card logo. But for an achievement badge, this might work really well. So that is our theme. Personal Earth Day achievement badges. So where can we learn more? There is a presentation right at the top that will be the same as what you see in the question of the day. And once you get past understanding what vectors and rasters are, it will then talk about these logo approaches. Pictorial logos, logo types, and combined marks. We are not using text for this assignment. We'll be designing text later, right? So this is not a logo type project, and it's not a combined mark project. This is what's called a pictorial or an iconic logo project, right? And you want it to be clear, engaging, and versatile. And so you want to play with it in these 3 approaches: central, symmetrical, dynamic, or a play of positive and negative space, where something of note is made in the negative space. And these are black shaped graphics. So they are not black and white. They are just made of black shapes so that they work on any background. So let's say that you love sea otters and you wanted to make your personal Earth Day badge out of sea otters. This would be a central symmetrical approach. This would be dynamic. This would be the play of positive and negative space. Just because the empty space works in. Here's Nico done in those 3 ways. Kind of hiding a knight inside the negative space. And then we pick the approach we like and we make the refined sketch out of it. And then that refined sketch gets turned into the vector image. And believe it or not, this is a vector image. I added kind of the retro vector effects to it, and then we can do color variations on it. So we do that over and over again. You want to think in terms of graphics, right? These are 2 Day of the Dead Nikos, but this is an illustration. This is a logo, right? Big difference. It's not line art. It's solid black shapes. And you can either, when it comes to the refined sketch, you can hand sketch it, or you can even composite it out of components, right? But eventually that's going to get turned into the clean vector. All right. I think that's everything to set you up to start thinking about how you're going to make a black shaped symbol for Earth Day, right? And how you'll sketch that idea in at least 3 different ways. Thank you very much.